Hey guys, welcome back to our podcast.
Hey guys, in today's episode, we are doing another one of our weekly quote breakdowns. And unfortunately, this week, our quote is by an unknown author. Couldn't figure out exactly who came up with it, but Dan is going to go ahead and share the quote with us.
It's a pretty universal quote. You might have heard of it, but we just wanted you to hear it one more time and hear us talk about it, so maybe you'll understand it better. This quote is usually referred to the 5 by 5 rule. If it is not going to matter in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes being upset about it. Ricky, would you like to relate this quote somehow to maybe your life, maybe the dance world?
I think this quote is incredibly relatable for probably every single person listening to this podcast or watching, whether it's in dancing or not. I'm just wanting to take a few specific examples in dance because that's what our podcast is all about. Obviously, the easiest one is when we're probably in practice and there's something going wrong in the routine or the partnering or whatever it may be, and you just can't fix it. You're not moving past it. You're getting more upset. Your partner's getting more upset. And both of you have the same goal. You just want to fix this and move on. But somehow it's just not getting fixed. And for some reason, neither one of you can figure out how to fix it.
Things get
Um,
heated
in those
between you two.
moments, yeah, it can be very, very frustrating for both people. And it's so hard to remember because, especially, a lot of us are so passionate about our dancing and spend so many hours in the studio that we want everything to go right and we want everything to be good, just have a normal practice, go home and not be upset, which is fully possible. The thing that you have to realize is like with the 5 by 5 rule, if you're not going to be worrying about this exact mistake in your dancing in 5 years, then worry about it for 5 minutes. If you can't solve it, then you leave it. Come back to it later, or maybe on your next lesson, talk to specifically about it with your coach or coaches and say, hey, we're having this problem. Can you please help us? Because we don't want to argue more and more about it. And it even can be the same for results. Let's say you have a competition that you've been working really hard towards and you don't quite get the result you're looking for. It can be very, very disheartening sometimes, but you have to remember, are you looking at your dance career as a 12-month thing, or are you looking at it as for the next 10 years? Because in 5 years from now, you're probably not going to look back on that one singular competition and be so upset that you are fourth instead of first place. So even just things like that, even important things like competitions, you can still really apply this rule to that. You should always make the most of what you're doing in your practice and you're competing in your life, but things don't always go to plan. And if it doesn't go to plan, ask yourself, am I going to be stressing about this in 5 years? Because if not, then I'm not going to spend more than 5 months stressing myself out now about it.
Now, guys, you have to remember that you really have to ask yourself that question because while I was looking at this quote, there's different people who didn't really understand it correctly. They're like, well, what if there's a death of a loved one? It doesn't really apply there. The death of the loved one is going to stay with you for a while. It's going to take you to stay with you for the rest of your life. You're not going to forget that, right? You're going to forget that one argument you had with your partner on the dance floor. So we're talking about small things right now, not extreme things. Let's say your last competition in Blackpool and you bomb it. Yes, it's the end of your career, unfortunately, if it is. But still, you had the experience, you had all the emotions. There was still there's still positive things to find in that. So don't misinterpret this quote. This quote is more for smaller things, people who stress over unneeded things. So, guys, if you're still listening, you're amazing. We love you, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.